Hello, how is it going? This is going to be very weird and very scuff, I'm sure, but you get the idea. So I am doing a video where I'm just recording as opposed to being live. This will not be edited in any way, so it'll just be a one-shot, very scuff thing. This video is meant to be a special thing I'm doing in celebration of my 1-year anniversary for getting into plastic model kits as a hobby. So I'll be going over some things. This is going to be a QA FAQ style video. I have 3 total sections. Category 1 will be covering my interest in plastic model kits, my goals, etc. Category 2 will be my setup, evolution, tools, techniques. And then category 3 will be hand cam content and future plans as I grow. So let me do something here real quick. I'll be using my live things to do stuff. Let's see here. Was this right? Okay, bear with me here. Should be good to go now. Yes. So, here I am. As you can see, I'm on a different thing now. Isn't that cool? Yay! So anyway, naturally, since I have some stuff I want to show it off, this arm, for those who hadn't seen any of my most recent videos, or live streams rather, is something I commissioned off of Fiverr. And so I have this cool hand, massive mech Gundam hand that my model can sit and stand on. So because this is not viable at all during any sorts of live stream content that I do, for showing it off in its full size, I'll be doing it in this video. So I guess first off, I will do a recap and show off all the builds that I have done over the past year. So over the past year, I did 31 builds. My most recent one was Master Grade Zeta Gundam Verka, and my very first build was High Grade GP01, a kit that came out in the year 2000, which is crazy to me. Anyway, yeah. So these are most of my builds in each picture. Of course, that was a commission I did for a friend / viewer, and you can sort of see 3 of the kits there, but I show them up close because why not? So yeah. I believe that's the last picture. We'll see if it loops around. Yeah, okay. So that was every single build that I did over the past year. Every single one of those, except for the Star Destroyer, has some footage up on my YouTube. There's a playlist, the Handcam Master List, and some other playlists. Well, we'll see what this video stuff does. Okay, there we go. So I am listening to music by Kevin MacLeod. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Apologies. He does a lot of really cool music that is essentially free under the specific copyright license thing that he uses. It's where people just label his stuff correctly. They can freely use and monetize videos that his music is used in. So you'll be hearing all sorts of songs you've probably heard before. I just have them all on a random playlist because I am not good at selecting what songs to use for each thing. But every single one of this video will be from Kevin MacLeod. Just full disclosure, I will have in the description every single song as per what is required by the copyright license thing. Anyway, so if a song just doesn't fit the mood at all, that would be why. Okay, so category 1. And so the way this works is I will just read off what I wrote. So I'll be asking a question to myself from someone else's perspective, and then reading the answer from mine. I might add my own words beyond what I've already written. We shall see. Anyway, so here we go with question 1 from category 1. Why did you decide to get into the plastic model kit hobby? So my answer is, my dad passed away in late 2024, and I was looking for a new hobby to get into as a form of grieving and just to enjoy in general. So I spent around $150 on a few kits and tools to properly give the hobby a try. I decided on Gunpla to start off with and enjoyed it a lot. Question 2. And so this is where I will try to show off some pictures of different things. So what are your favorite kits out of the 31 you built over the past year? And so first off is Real Grade High New Gundam. So here's a slideshow of pictures of that. It's just a random mishmash of pictures. So Real Grade High New Gundam was a lot of fun. One of my favorite looking out of the 1/144 scale kits I have. Let's see what else I can say about this kit. I learned a lot during building this kit. I broke a piece. My very first piece that I broke ever was on this kit, and I was able to repair it with plastic cement. And overall, I think it turned out really well. Of course, like all my other kits, I have not put on any water slide decals yet. The thin funnels alone took a long time. And I believe that is the end of the slideshow. So the next build was Full Mechanics Aerial Gundam. So I'm not sure why it's going in that order, but there it is. So this was a fun build to me. I had not built a Full Mechanics kit yet. It felt very much so like building a high grade, but in 100 scale. And I enjoyed it a lot. It was a very refreshing kit to build, having just built Real Grade High New Gundam before this. It was definitely one of my shorter builds at the time. I also didn't put a lot of effort into cleaning up each part for nub marks and stuff. Okay, so the next kit was Motor Nuclear's Xiaoyun and White Dragon. This kit will have a lot of pictures, some almost 40 something. I'm not sure if it'll even, or if I'll even have it go for everything. So this kit was my first third-party kit. I had only built Gunpla up until this point. Let's see here. What did I say it is? Being my first exposure to non-Gunpla kits, I learned a lot from the build. Metal inner frame, a physical size that dwarfs some perfect grade kits, a horse, lots of sharp edges, making it difficult to assemble sections and to pose, etc. Yeah, and there's a fully assembled thing, as you can tell. It's massive. There will be some pictures here shortly that give a better idea of scale compared to other things. And there it is, next to all of my assembled kits. So that's my dining room, kitchen thing. So that's my dining room table inside my kitchen. And then, of course, I have a galaxy lamp thing, projector, and that's trying to show off the cool lighting on the lightning effect on the spear. I actually don't know where these pictures end. But yeah, so that was, again, really fun build. Really great end result for the price and stuff, so very nice. Yeah, there's some better ideas of scale compared to other kits. As you can tell, it's a lot bigger than a master grade. Well, most master grades. I did not realize those pictures were in there. What the heck? Okay, well, whatever. So, the next kit was the Full Armor Unicorn. So this is one of my more recent builds. I might have even built it this year. Yeah, I think I built it this year. Yeah, so this was my second build of this year, I'm pretty sure. Second or third build of this year. The first one, of course, being the Wing Gundam 0 Endless Waltz Verkov. Anyway, so this build took me a long time, almost 20 hours in total. It took me more time than it took me to build the Unicorn Gundam HD Color plus MS Cage that you see behind it. But yeah, lots of fun, lots of accessories. Took a long time for me to get to pose properly and to attach everything. Those are grenades on it and stuff. But yeah, definitely my favorite of the Unicorn Gundams I've built so far. It's also the only one that I have transformed into Destroy mode. The joints feel a bit looser when it is in Destroy mode. But yeah, then the final one that I liked, or my final favorite rather, was Master Grade F91 Gundam. So again, I'm not sure why it's going in this order, but whatever. So those are some of the accessories it comes with. It has this cool stand and stuff. I am told this is technically the Master Grade 2.0 version of the F91 Gundam, but the box and labeling itself does not ever mention 2.0. So I'm sure it is, but the box itself doesn't indicate this. Anyway, the action base it comes with is special/unique, and basically the way I have it attached means that part of the action base is within the chest of the mobile suit. And the idea behind why is to allow for their LED kit to interface with the action base and have the inner frame lined up a bit. So it's a really cool idea. I do not have the LEDs, but that is how that would work. Let's see what else I said. Yeah, so full armor, said for favorite because of the amount of weapons and other equipment. Fully assembled and transformed is absolutely massive. Yeah. Then the F91 Gundam is the exact opposite, being one of the, if not the smallest Gundam to exist. It looks hilariously small on this display compared right next to my Unicorn Banshee. It has such a classic sleek look. I love the design as it is distinctly Gundam, but in a way we just don't see from modern mobile suits. Okay, so the next question, were there any builds you disliked or kits you dislike? So first, full disclosure, while writing my answer to this, I realized this will probably be better covered in a separate video. Therefore, I will mention each kit and include 1 or 2 sentences of reasons for each. I will cover this topic more in a future video. I do not have pictures of these. I couldn't be bothered. You saw them all in the builds. So my first Master Grade, which was Zeta Gundam 2.0, I broke a part of the inner frame trying to adjust it into proper position after I'd finished with all of the assembly, which was really frustrating. I briefly attempted to get a replacement part, was unsuccessful at getting the specific thing I wanted. I've not bothered since, and the kit still sits on its action base with part of its chest awkwardly sucked in. My second Master Grade, Force Impulse, also had some issues where I made some mistakes that took time to undo. On one foot and inner joint part I did wrong, and while disassembling I bent a curved part, and now the foot is forever loose. Yay. Let's see here then. On Real Grade Hainu, and I think at this point I'm just reviewing things where I made big mistakes or something. Anyway, on Real Grade Hainu, I broke an armor piece for the chest unit near the exhaust while sanding, and had to learn how to use plastic cement to fix it. Thankfully it turned out well, and I used panel liner around the break and did the same on the other side to help hide it. Master Grade Wing 0 Endless Waltz Verkov had some frustrating moments. I had to glue some small chest pieces multiple times and ruined the exterior side of one part in the process. Also, the cockpit had fitting issues where I had to sand some stuff down after it was already assembled to get it to close properly without some parts popping right off. Then lastly, one of my most recent builds, Master Grade RX 78-2 3.0. It has many bad design choices, such as no water slide stickers, odd sticker placement choices versus just having a part be the color, and some frustrating assembly sections. I could do a whole rant video just on this kit, but there are plenty of those already. Okay, and then for question number 4, why have you continued Plamo as a hobby? I couldn't think of a better way to word this question. Obviously, after I built the initial first kits I bought, I could have called it there and moved on to something else. Simplest answer is I continue the hobby because I enjoy it. The long answer is a lot more complex. I have autism. I was diagnosed in early 2022. This is not a secret and something I am fully transparent about on my channels. The primary reason I continue with Plamo as a hobby, in addition to simply enjoying it, is because I believe it is beneficial to both my mental and physical health. Plamo as a whole is a fairly innocuous thing to hyperfixate on. Having harmless things to hyperfixate on and obsess over allows me to function day to day. Week to week, Plamo has so much going on as well, making it easy to always discover something new and exciting, let alone with all the cool new things that seemingly get announced every week or month. I learned early on after I was diagnosed that having something simple and small I can consistently go back to as a hyperfixation and obsession helps me out so much. Instead of being interested in a particular show or comic or game or musical artist or whatever that I lose interest in quickly because I quickly go through everything that interested me, Plamo is evolutive with an infinite variety. Okay, and next up for question number 5. What are your dream kits that you want to have someday? Now, I do have some pictures for this in a slideshow. So my answers are, I won't call them Grail kits. Some people like to call harder to get, either because financially or simply aren't many of them available, Holy Grail kits. I'm not going to call these that. So first off is the Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon, then the 1/350 scale USS Gerald Ford, which is CVN 78. Then I also want the Master Grade Extreme Unicorn Gundam and the 1/72 scale Sky Defender. I'm noticing that for whatever reason, not every single picture here is showing up, but it should have. So that's a bummer. Let me make sure here that I have them in the... I do, but hardly any pictures are showing up. Okay. Interesting. So it did let me add some pictures to slideshow, but I guess because we're in WebP format, they aren't pulling up. So I guess I do not have pictures for Sky Defender or Master Grade Extreme, or better pictures of the USS Gerald Ford. Anyway, those are the main kits that I'm going to mention because those are the ones that are a bit more expensive. The Millennium Falcon, for example, is around $500. The USS Gerald Ford's around $450, I believe. And Sky Defender is over $200, especially if you try to get the Cosmos LED kit as well. Master Grade Extreme Unicorn Gundam is around $300, I believe, if we're talking MSRP at least. There is one other kit that I am interested in, but I'm undecided on. It's been rumored that LEGO will be releasing a set for Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings. I think that would be really cool. However, claims are that it will be some $600 and also be one of our largest kits in terms of the amount of parts and stuff. That will likely be revealed within the next few months and supposedly it will release this summer. So we'll see. I really like Lord of the Rings, and a massive structure like that would be really cool. Okay, so question number 6. Where do you get your model kits and tools and supplies from? So for my answer, first off, a disclaimer. On this topic, I've experienced firsthand the toxicity and gatekeeping of a handful of people in various communities, and I have even seen it in comment sections of some Plamo-related YouTube videos from other channels. So I want to address it briefly as part of this answer, because to me, I would like to think a majority of people This hobby is for everyone from everywhere, regardless of age, gender, tastes, beliefs, views, preferences, orientation, cognitive ability, physical ability, how kits are acquired, the types of kits built, geographical location, etc., or the like. So the majority of my Gundam kits I acquired from my local Hobby Lobby. For those unfamiliar, Hobby Lobby inventory isn't static and can change week to week depending on what they get in and how quickly people buy what is on the shelves. It is a fun experience going in for their 40% off, which puts their over MSRP kits well below 10 to 15% under the retail prices most websites sell for. And discovering a kit I've not seen in the store before that interests me. I've gotten a lot of cool kits this way. So for those who don't know, some people are very vocal in their dislike of Hobby Lobby because of reasons XYZ, and this is the toxic gatekeeping I've experienced firsthand multiple times in various Plamo communities. The Fat Electrician on his YouTube channel, The Fat Files, and I do have a thumbnail of this, has done a video covering Hobby Lobby, which I highly recommend watching if you actually want to know, at least based on what average Joe person can research, has been up to, all the nitty-gritty whatever, and come to a conclusion of your own. I will not be trying to sway people one way or another. I simply think that it shouldn't be a reason to hate people if they buy from Hobby Lobby. Now, full disclosure, he does use language in his videos, so keep that in mind. But yeah, so the rest of my kits, tools, and supplies I've gotten from places like Hobbytown and online shops like USA Gundam Store, New Type, AZ Toy Hobby Shop, etc. Okay, on to question 7. Do you have any goals for the next year or long term for your time in the hobby in general? So far, all but one build has been straight builds. I want to try out painting. I want to get a proper spray booth airbrush setup. I'd like to do some custom paint schemes on some kits and incorporate them into my channel stuff somehow. I might also try getting into building dioramas. Long term, I have a few goals. First, I have a lot of things I want to physically create for my channel. I'll go into more details in the section related to my channel. My other goal is more of a dream than a goal I am working towards actively, but it would be cool if I could receive more commissions. I've already built one commissioned work, and it would be fun to do more, and for my channel and builds to gain enough visibility and interest for others to commission me on a more regular basis. Imagine if I could someday make enough money off of the hobby that I don't need a full-time job. I believe this is probably very unrealistic, but it would be cool. I enjoy the hobby enough that I would have fun doing things in the hobby full-time. Okay, and that is it for category 1. So category 2. How has your workspace / hand cam setup evolved over time? So this is where we pull this up. And again, it's not in order, and that really pisses me off, and I don't know why. Let's see. Okay, I figured it out. Let's see if I can get this to do a thing. Okay, there we go. So, I'll just let it play through, and I'll explain, or I'll just read what I wrote, because I explained some stuff anyway. First off, this will be one of the longer answers. So back during 2018/2020 era of streaming, I was primarily a VR streamer, and I had a green screen setup that involved 2 tripods, a pole, and the green screen itself. I still have this setup in storage, minus the green screen, and I was able to repurpose it to clamp mount my webcam. The pole can expand to a very decent length, and I can easily put whichever table or desk I use as my workspace in between. I've used this as a key part of my setup for every single setup so far. Like that's how I get the top-down view, is using that webcam mounted to that pole, held up by 2 tripods, and it works amazingly. Then let's see here. For my initial 1.5 builds, because I technically finished my second build on a new setup, I used my current desktop desk, which is where I'm at right now. So that one where you see the other V2 remodel in a really small desk and massive TV, this one right here, that's my desktop setup where I'm doing this video from right now. Anyway, I moved away the keyboard and mouse and whatnot and installed the tripod above. It worked pretty well because I could use my existing webcam setup for my VTuber model without any issue. And then next, I upgraded to a plastic table in another room. It was too short for my chair, so I raised the table by putting something underneath the legs. I changed from my desktop PC to a laptop I had bought the prior year, which would have been 2024, and have the laptop on its own rolling desk, a smaller rolling desk, to give myself plenty of space on the table. I finished building my second model kit as my first build on this new setup. For my third setup, which was after some home renovation took place, there was some big plumbing replacement thing that had to go on, which meant getting into the walls in various rooms and that in the ceilings, and that was a huge ordeal. Anyway, I replaced the small plastic table with a large wooden dining table. I think I initially still kept the laptop on a separate space. For this setup, I think I added my desktop microphone to improve audio. I also around this time got a chair I now use exclusively for building plastic model kits. Before this, I was using my desktop chair. This third setup slightly evolved over time, and I put the laptop on the table and introduced some organizational stuff to set up to store my tools and runners after I accidentally broke a couple of glass files. There is a clip where I drop an F-bomb up on my YouTube shorts where I drop my gun primer eraser. My original glass file that I got for my very first builds. Anyway, let's see here. So it doesn't say it, but the main setup that I've been using for a while now, I moved from that position to another wall in a corner, and then evolved it slightly more by adding 2 more runner organizational things. I have 3 containers, tubs, whatever you want to call them, for displaying and organizing my runners throughout a build process. One of those is always next to me, and the other 2 are to my side and slightly behind me. Okay. My fourth and current setup at time of writing is the same dining table, but moved to a different part of the room. Okay, so I have written this out. I have a smaller desk on wheels off to the side behind me, and I now have 3-hole runner organizer setups. I have drawers nearby and a few steps away that store things I don't need for every build. Directly behind me I have a portable plastic table that I use for more organizational things, like keeping the current builds box for storing empty runners and extra parts I put in a Ziploc bag. My future setup, once current room renovation is done, will involve a large U-shaped desk. I don't have the exact measurements, but it is something like 7 feet wide and 7 feet long. So 7 feet squared, then cut out the middle to give it a proper desk U shape, and you get the idea. This desk has sentimental value, being my dad's and his dad's before him. He inherited it from my grandfather, aka his dad, when he passed away, and I'm going to be making use of it going forward, so it stays in the family. I am excited for this, as it will be a lot of workspace to use freely. I want to do things such as have a dedicated spot to showcase builds with a turntable, multiple cameras perspectives, a dedicated spray booth space, but it will be a while before it reaches its final evolution where I've got everything I want to use with it and placements figured out. For example, I don't think I can easily use my current tripod setup with this U-shaped desk, which is a problem, but I'll figure it out. Okay, on to the next question. What are your current go-to tools for Plamo? How has your building techniques changed since starting? I will keep this one short and simple and do a separate video to cover this topic. And then let's see here. So I do have a picture of all my current tools, which I had not actually prepared for this video, which is kind of funny. Let me do that real quick to add to the scuff value of a video, which will somehow make it more entertaining to no one. So I had taken a proper picture of all my tools. See if I can find where it is. There it is. Cool. I will now save that file on my PC, and then I will pull it up on stream. Yay! Okay, so this goes here. Okay. So next, bear with me here. This will be very scuffed. And there it is. Next, I just do that. Hold on here. Fit to screen. So there it is. There's all the tools. These are my go-to tools for everything. So I'll just talk about them a little bit. So let's see here. Okay. So obviously there's a toothbrush off to the left. I use that to brush off things like the glass file, the nippers, etc. The parts after I've cleaned up panel lines. Then for my two nippers, it's the Display STA 3.0 and the Godhand PNS 135. For the hobby knife, which is in its plastic stand, is the Alpha AK5, I think. Or is it the AK4? I forget which one's which. This was the one with a really small blade, though. Then the red thing up top in the center is a click eraser. It's in pen form, but it's an eraser all the way in the tube. Then is my Gundam marker panel liner with a fine tip for black panel lining. Then my Display 90-degree angled tweezer. Then I forget the name of the brand. It's like Haikyuu or something like that. And I forget. It's like a water slide squeegee or whatever they call it for decals. And of course a toothpick. Then my Gun Primer Eraser Origin glass file. And then a Display. And then Onsai regular size glass files, and of course my Bandai parts separator. Then of course off to the right is my glove, the No Cry, I forget exactly what glove, but it's cut resistant, level 5, and then it has it's coated so it protects better. Let's see here. And then this is the approach and techniques I use for straight builds, aka no painting. So far, I haven't added decals or top coat to any kit. First, after removing all runners from plastic bags and organizing them, I panel line using a Gundam marker fine tip panel liner with the parts still on the runners. I currently go section by section. Okay, so this is after that. So when I'm building, I currently go section by section and remove all parts for the section from a runner. I use the two-cut method to remove parts from runner, then from part, and then I use a hobby knife to remove excess nub until the part is smooth for assembly. Every once in a while, I will sand after cutting because I feel the need to, but this rarely happens. This approach works great for straight builds. I remove excess panel liner before assembly, rinse and repeat for each section. For arms and legs, if a section indicates left and right separately, I consider those to be one section each, but oftentimes prep both sections simultaneously. Next question. Any tips for anyone looking to get into Plamo? This will be just some generic wishy-washy philosophical thing that isn't very practical. A little bit of it will be practical, but stuff literally anyone else could tell you or you could think of on your own. First, if you're looking to get into Plamo, something has probably already caught your eye or interest. So look more into whatever caught your eye, interest, and use that as your starting point. If that thing looks intimidating or expensive, start with something simpler, smaller, and cheaper to see if you like it. An example for Gunpla specifically would be while you can immediately spend $300 on that cool perfect grade, maybe consider getting a high grade for $20 first and see if you like it. Generally speaking, the kits will be very similar experiences, just at different scales and different amounts of parts to make up each section. You don't need expensive tools to get started either. As someone who spends more time in my own head than reality, the last piece of advice I can give you is you learn a lot more by doing than by thinking about something. So try different things and have fun. while I don't necessarily advocate for taking risks or doing things without care, it is true that you learn a lot more from mistakes than doing something correctly. Do not shy away from failure, because many failures will lead to your success in the long run. It is easy to build a kit without breaking parts, but it is hard to finish building a kit after repairing broken parts, joints, etc. These are skills you learn over time that will take you far in the hobby. Lastly, there are tons of resources available across YouTube and other places to explain various things and show how to do things. There are numerous ways to achieve the same result in various approaches. Plamo is all about freedom. Do whatever you want the way you want. Keep an open mind. You might watch a video and only take away one thing from it to add to your skill set or tool set, or maybe nothing at all. But at least you've learned something, but at least you've learned a new way to do something, and that is what the hobby is all about. Let's see here. Then on to category 3. Let me just read through here. So this will be fairly short. I don't think I have any pictures for this. Why hand cam streaming? So I've been live streaming off and on for over 12 years now. I am not very popular or have a lot of followers, but I do it because I simply enjoy the act of being live. While I could simply build kits without any camera, creating a hand cam streaming setup, doing all my builds on stream was something I wanted to do right from the get-go. Today, I feel it was 100% the right decision. Even with my first build, some people who have been in the hobby for years stopped by and gave me good tips. By continuing to stream all my builds and have the VODs up on YouTube, I keep a record of everything for anyone to see. My progress over time, the tools and techniques I use, the types of kits that interest me, etc. It will all be there for years to come. Any Plamo related goals for your channel? This is part of an answer from another section I talked about earlier. First, I have a lot of things I want to physically create for my channel. Then maybe do stop motion videos or good pictures or something and feature on my channel in some way, such as for an intro or a stinger transition or whatever. I'd love to find a way to recreate my original character by kit bashing various girl pluck kits together. I also want to create dioramas to use as backgrounds for my stream. Specifically, I want to design and build my own exclusive spaceship for my channel lore that I fly. I'd have my various models be parts of the crew. I'd give them their own signature Ace-style mobile suits and other various vehicles, in addition to various grunt things I'd create to make up the backbone of the army, or whatever you want to call it. Lastly, while I don't actively look to do collabs or network or make friends, there is one Plamo-related content creation charity I would not mind participating in someday, were I invited. The charity event is called Plamo Weekender. Specifically, it raises money for a Cure Alzheimer's Fund. I wouldn't mind participating because my dad passed away from early onset Alzheimer's. As mentioned in a previous section, his passing is one of the main reasons I decided to get into this hobby when I did. I watched a bit of the stream event late last year, and surprisingly, a majority of the content creators participating were VTubers. Maybe someday, my channel will grow enough visibility that they will invite me. I don't plan to actively pursue anything though. For me, it is just maybe in X years from now, it would be cool to participate in Y thing. And then, next question. Schedule. You don't have a set schedule, but do you have a loose schedule for the upcoming couple of months? I kind of sort of do, yes. So by the time this video goes live, room renovation will have started and hopefully finished or be close to finishing. At which point, I get to figure out my new setup and get that up and running so I can build Plamo again. Assuming this all goes well, I plan to build some of my larger kits. Also, my birthday is in March. Specifically, March 13th, 1-3. I will be turning 34. I will do some sort of special stream thing. Last year, I streamed daily for a week. I don't know what I will do this year, because I don't know what my schedule will be like, but I will do something. Let's see here. Then question number 4. Do you have any plans to expand your content beyond live streaming, or do Plamo-related live streams that are not your hand cam builds? Honestly, not really. I think it would be cool to someday make short time-lapse videos for each build, but I don't enjoy editing videos. I don't edit any videos right now and only live stream. All videos I've uploaded to my channel are just VODs or things I recorded in one shot and uploaded without any post-editing. Maybe one day I'll be rich enough and interested in videos enough to hire an editor. As for Plamo content that isn't me building stuff, I don't know. I'm not big, popular. People wouldn't really find my opinions or reactions interesting or entertaining. I'm an average autistic Joe 1 year into the hobby. I don't know enough about the hobby or the franchises the kits are from to do anything interesting or entertaining. I could do generic things like tier lists, react to Plamo memes, or general Plamo community builds that have been posted somewhere, like r/Plamo or r/Gumpla, or whatever, but I honestly don't see a point as a regular thing to include as my content. Perhaps some of these as a one-off thing, like a tier list of all 31 builds for my first year in the hobby, that could be fun. Or maybe one-off rant videos where I rant about a particular kit or some Plamo-related topic like gatekeeping. I don't bother with individual kit reviews. I mean, does the internet really need yet another channel doing kit reviews? Just go watch some of the reviews that already exist. I guarantee they will all be of better quality than I have interest in producing. In short, I plan to stick to primarily doing handcam builds as my only Plamo content. Apart from the handful of videos I plan to make like this one, etc., but these are meaningful and are to highlight anniversaries or do something I think is interesting or important. Will I even do another one of these videos next year? Who knows? Alright, that is the end of what I was wanting to do for this. Looks like it went on for some 42 minutes. I could redo this into separate videos, maybe add more to it. We shall see. Really just depends on how much effort I want to put into this. If this is VCut that I upload, if you actually watched all this way, thanks for watching. I'll see you live sometime soon.